when you compare it to your average road car, which has probably got about 100, say, horsepower. But keep in mind that these guys are a lot lighter. The carts don't weigh a lot either. They do have a minimum driver and cart weight of 78 kilos. And I'm slightly depressed to say that me on my own is about about 10 to 20 kilos heavier than that, so I won't go into too much detail. Right, we are racing for the first time here at the Indikart Bambino 2023 season, and I'm just struggling to pick out who's actually got into the pole position. It's actually the number 66, Elsie Gannon from third on the grid with an absolute rocket start. Number 17, Toby Cannon. Not related to Elsie Gannon. There is a G and a C difference there. But Gannon is in the lead. Cannon is in second place. But look at that, head down, hunkered down, already determined to try and get that lead position back. So not the best start. Toby is extremely quick by the looks of it, about 3 seconds quicker than our spinning number 66, Elsie Gannon, and that's such a shame. Led for about half a lap there before it went a little bit wrong about halfway through the lap. That's at the double apex, I believe they like to call it here at the Wilton Mill. That's because it's a double left-hander. You have to hit both apexes, turns 4 and 5, as we sort of unlovingly call them, but that's the sort of areas we know them as. So Toby Cannon holds on to the race lead then from pole position, lost it momentarily. It was only for a moment, of course, a half a lap before retaking it, and looks like got a nice little gap between themselves and Theo Jepson, the number 14, who started in second place and now retakes that second place as well. Elsie Gannon has rejoined, unfortunately down in fourth position, with third place now going to the number 12 of Calman Simon. And as I said, they are about 10 laps for the Bambino heats. So we'll be able to count them down for you throughout the session. Even if you don't have it out there on your screen, I'll keep you up to date with how long they've got to go. Don't you worry. Toby Cannon just puts in a fastest lap of the race. The first flying lap that he's probably got to really get to grips with, the 49.728. That's realistically only about seconds slower. So once the tyres get back up to temperature... Oh, and look at this. They're already starting to... no, sorry, this is a replay, potentially. Well, it was going to be a replay. It's now gone back to our live cameras. We do have the option for a replay, and we'll try and get that figured out so we can potentially see any sort of talking points throughout the race. The Bambinos is all about learning. It is all about being safe, really. In this, obviously, everybody turns up wanting to win, wanting to do well. But the Bambinos is a class that's really geared towards trying to get people in karts as early as possible in the safest way as possible, to try and teach them the ways of racing, how to be safe overtaking, how to sort of what the feeling of the meetings are like as well, because it can be a little bit overwhelming when people jump into the world of motorsport. Oh, is Toby Cannon pushing the limits there, trying to get as much speed out of the kart as possible. Here's Theo Jepson in second place, missing the apex there slightly and running a little bit wide as well. The lap times between first and second aren't that too different if we're just going on the last lap time. In fact, actually, sorry, my apologies, it wasn't Toby Cannon who went wide. This is the replay of Theo Jepson running onto the rumble strip. And I can tell you what, these karts don't have any suspension. That is an uncomfortable ride. Not easy to do. You really do want to stay off the rumble strip, especially in a slightly slower kart, because you do feel those bumps an awful lot more.
Theo Jepson there in second place. You have to keep an eye on the timing for us. We don't have any actual times on screen. We've just got the names and the positions they're in. But you've got the times there, Jack. So what was the gap going through the line last time?
Well, the gap over the line last time was 0.7 of a second. It lost about half a second to Theo just by going over that rumble strip and potentially missing an apex or two. It's a bit unfortunate. This is Elsie Gannon, who's overtaken Calman Simon and retaken that third position, which is exactly where they qualified, of course.
Looking strong early was Elsie. Obviously, spinning out didn't help her, but she's back on now. Just got to keep with it, and obviously she's got another heat coming, and then how you do in those heats will determine your positions for the final that will be coming up later in the day.
Yes, of course, we haven't really gone through the format of the day, have we? But of course, it is, as Alan's just alluded to, a 2-heat and a final format. I've already read out the sort of championship, the event schedule, I should say. Heat 1s will run until, I believe it's 1:30. Then there'll be a short half-hour break. And then we'll go into Heat 2s and straight into the finals. There may well be a break just before the finals, so we can sort out some of the extra cameras, so we can edit some fancy camera angles for the Sporty Stuff TV show that will be coming onto your screens in a couple of weeks' time, of course. But so that is pretty much the event. It's Heat 1, lunch break. Heat 2, short break to sort some cameras out, and then into the finals. And hopefully it all should be wrapped up just before 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we've got a couple of extra camera angles for the TV show. We've got the drone, should be up, obviously, the weather looks okay for that. And we've got the cable cam running from turn 2 up towards the hairpin, but it will basically cover turn 2. It's an interesting shot. Hopefully we'll have that working. It's been, we had a few issues with it in the test we did in October, and but it seemed to be working okay yesterday. Let's hope we can get that running. So we'll have cable cam, drone, a couple of extra camera angles, one covering the back straight, which enables us to cover more of the action. We're hoping to have that camera live at some point during the season. And obviously the drone gives us a nice overall view of the circuit, as we normally do.
Yeah, as well, I've got you, Alan, actually. We're about, I think we've got about 4 or 5 laps to go. As you know, not even that. Yeah, no, it is 4 or 5 laps. Apologies. It's, no, it's 10 lap race. My apologies. It's just Bambinos are the ones that catch me out. They've got 10 laps, haven't they? So we've got 3 laps to go, but very quickly, the Indikart Plus Championship. I mean, for those out there who are watching may know what the Indikart sort of the rules and regs, what makes it unique. Obviously, the fact that you don't need a racing license. What makes the Indikart Plus?
Well, in the past, last few years, the circuit owner Bob Wilson has not allowed people with an MSA licence or Motorsport UK licence to race with people that are unlicensed. So he had the MSA or Motorsport UK events running, but it was down to 9 people.
Yep.
So decided that was just not viable anymore. So we've come up with the Indikart Plus. Now, Indikart means that you can be licensed or unlicensed, but if you are unlicensed, you will have to prove a certain skill level to the circuit owner. He puts you through what is the equivalent of like an ARCS test for non-licensed drivers, and I believe he will be giving out licenses to people as the season goes on. They'll have a card, so they have to present that effectively, but it means that they can race together. Whereas in the past, if you had a licence, you couldn't race in the Indikart Clubman event, which is, I think, now at the end of the month. So the Indikart Clubman, which will be coming up, and you may find people do a bit of both, but the Clubman, you cannot be licensed to race in the Clubman event effectively. It's a good starting point for people. Yeah,
I think we just got onto the last lap of the race, potentially, and so...
We just had a spinner there as well.
Oh, we did. Sorry, I was writing something down on my notepad. What was it? We've still got all 4 drivers rotating, but I think it may have been Calman Simon, actually, as the Toby Cannon and Theo Jepson have just gone past them as a back marker, I believe. Or Theo Jepson's about to do such a thing. But Toby Cannon is about to cross the line and take the checkered flag for the first time in the 2023 Indikart Championship. Indikart Plus Championship, I should say, actually, as we were just talking about it. And he takes the first victory for the Bambinos. Great stuff there by Toby Cannon. Didn't have it all their own way. Off the start-finish line, obviously got a little bit bogged down. Elsie Gannon took that race lead. Only lasted half a lap, though, before Elsie unfortunately span out. It is a lot of pressure when you take the lead. You do get quite excited sometimes. A little bit of experience or inexperience comes to the fore. So... it is a race win for Toby Cannon, the number 17. Theo Jepson, number 14, ever present in 2nd place. Elsie Gannon recovered from that spin and went down to 4th and then back up to 3rd with Calman Simon just about, I think he got lapped. So all 4 of the drivers have finished up. Now, the rules of the checkered flag say that you're supposed to slow down and go back to basically to almost safety car pace, but... it looks like some of those drivers out there in the middle of the circuit, from what I just saw out my window, taking it upon themselves, maybe have one last test session, one last test lap before they come in. And who can blame them, really? Half the fun of karting is going as fast as possible at any and all times.